Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tiffany, this is Tiff and Stitches, and we have another podcast for you. I think this is knitting podcast number 10. So I'm excited to be here. Today is Friday, November 8th, and this will be going live Saturday, November 9th. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Tiff and Stitches. You can find me on Ravelry. My username is Tiffany87. All of that is below in the description box. And yeah, we have not as much to talk about this week because I've been pretty monogamous. I'm sure you can guess on what, but we're gonna go through what I've worked on. And yeah, it should be short and sweet, hopefully. Lord knows I can ramble when given the opportunity, so we'll see what happens. But we will start with what I'm wearing. This is a sweater that is self-drafted, and it is not one that I have ever shown on the channel before. So if you follow me on Instagram, I don't even think I have a post on Instagram about this sweater, if we're being honest. So I will tell you guys a bit about it. I saw a sweater, I'm gonna insert a picture here, a couple years ago, on Instagram ad, and I was like, ooh, I love that sweater. And I went to go buy it and it was sold out in my size. And I was like, I could probably make it. Like, I bet I can make it. And that is where this sweater was born. I say it was self-drafted. At the time, I was not experienced enough to have figured out a drop shoulder on my own, but the sweater that was from the store was a drop shoulder. And so I did look up a free drop shoulder sweater pattern and used that for the back, but the rest of it was completely free-handed. I literally went as far as, like, in this photo, counting the rows in between the stripes and mimicking that. My gauge and the type of yarn I'm using is a little different, so it doesn't look exactly the same, but I will stand up here so you can kind of see it is longer. We did a split hem, stripes all the way around, and drop shoulder with like just a really open sleeve. I didn't do any decreases on the sleeve, and then I just did 1x1 ribbing on the cuff. So the yarn that I used for this guy is, I looked it up so I could tell you. It is, because it was so long ago. It's called Hikoo Sueno Tweed, and this is in the color Comforting Cream, the main color. So you can see it's like got a lot of different colored tweeds in there, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And then the stripes are Moonglow Yarn Co. DK, and they are one-of-a-kind colorways. They are on an old base that she no longer carries anymore, and I bought like a pack of 15 colors, and I just used 2 of the colors from that pack. This is one of my favorite sweaters I've ever made. I think because of the creativity that went into it, and like the fact that I got to create something that I could have bought at the store, but like instead I made it. I don't know, it was just like a really proud moment. It's very oversized and comfy and cozy, and I don't know, I'm proud of it and I love it. So, you know, use it as your inspiration, that if you see something that you like and you want, that you are a maker and you can use your 2 hands and you can make it. It was a super easy pattern, knit up on, I can't remember what size needles, but fairly big needles, DK weight yarn. It worked up pretty quick and I enjoyed it. So that is what I am wearing today. It's not really cold at all here. It feels like summer. What is it? Today's November 8th, and it is, let's look at the weather. It is approximately, I don't know, hot, 82 degrees. So we're wearing it, but it is not really sweater weather here, which is sad because I feel like we're gonna get to Christmas and it's still gonna be hot, but you know, it could be worse. It's not quite summer temperatures, so I guess it could be worse. Okay, well, I don't have any finished objects this week, so I guess we will just jump into what I have worked on, and I will kind of talk a bit about the process the last couple of weeks in working on these, and yeah, we'll do that. And then I have a lovely little surprise for you guys at the end. Some sad news and some happy news, but okay, so the first one that I will show you, I only did a little bit of work on, but I did pull out my Monday sweater. Oop, I'm about to lose stitches. I pulled out my Monday sweater by Petite Knit, and I had, during my fall, Cast On My Fall Knits With Me video, I had finished the collar. I hadn't tacked it down, but I had like finished the length of the collar. And so what I did, I'm kind of knotted here. Let me figure out. Things are just everywhere. So I did tack down the collar, and then I started working on the short rows. I have 4 more short rows to do before I am on to the raglan stitches. So that is where we're at with that. So I don't have much of this done, but I am happy to have tacked that collar down and gotten through most of the short rows. Maybe I'll finish this up tonight just so I can be like full into the raglan stitches. But so far I'm really loving, I love the color that I'm working with for this. So let me tell you what yarns we are using. So we're using a combination. I dropped my Mohair. So this is woolly knit, obviously in a 500 gram cone in the color Pine Forest Green. And then this is Drops Kid Silk Mohair in the color 24. I'm holding those together and it's really creating this pretty teal color. It's like lightening this, but brightening it a bit. And I'm really, really liking this. I'm knitting this in the size small on the recommended needles. I am holding the woolly knit double with so 2 strands of woolly knit, 1 strand of mohair to get gauge and the fabric that I wanted. When I swatched it with a single strand of woolly knit and I soaked it, and because with cones, a lot of times the wool will blossom a lot with blocking, and I did wash it and like let it dry, and then it was a very drapey fabric. And while I think that could be pretty, I also feel like, how do I say this? I'm bigger chested, and with a very drapey thin fabric sweater, I feel like it almost looks odd on me because it clings to things that it shouldn't. Does that make sense? So I wanted it to be a little bit more structured, and I wasn't quite getting gauge with the single strand. And so I upped it to the double strand, and I'm really glad I did. I think it's a really good fabric. It's not too thick, but I think it's gonna be beautiful. So this is my Monday sweater by Petite Knit. Not much done on it. I was, like I said, pretty monogamous the last 2 weeks, and that's because your girl's got a deadline, and I'm still not doing great. I also didn't knit as much in the last 2 weeks because I've had a lot going on. Most of it not great, if I'm being honest, and it's been a hard couple of weeks. Some of it great, but also keeping me busy. Some of it work. So I haven't had as much focus on knitting, and when I have, I've prioritized this next knit because it is a test knit and it has a deadline. So the last whip that I'm going to talk about today is my Iris pullover by Trin Annalie. It is a test knit. This pattern is not out yet. It should be out in December. And while I haven't knit a whole lot, as much as I'd like to have knit, I feel like I've still made some pretty good progress since you guys saw it 2 weeks ago. And we had a bit of a debacle that I'm not sure I solved in the right way. But the cool thing is I will get to knit this sweater again, and then I can maybe avoid this issue. I will learn. I'll show you guys what I mean. So this is where we're at. We have knit an entire other motif, I guess, or stripe if you want to call it that. Since we saw it last, it's looking so pretty. I also added the folded collar. Now I will say there was an error in the original pattern. She has since changed it, but she gave you how many inches to knit the collar and how many rows. and it was not adding up for me. Like my row gauge is a bit off, but it was like way off. And so I knit to the inches that she recommended, and she had said it should take like 32 rows to get there, and I was like at 17 rows. Like I was like way off. Well, it ends up, she didn't mean 2.5 inches. So mine is 2.5 inches. So mine is not accurate to her sample photos. She has since updated the pattern, I think, to 3.25 inches before you tack it down. So that would have been a few extra rows. I still don't think I would have gotten to 32 rows, obviously, because it was so far off. But it would have been a little bit thicker. But I don't mind it. I think it's going to be pretty. If I try it on and it's completely gappy, then I may go back and try to do something different. But so I did the double folded collar, and then, like I said, I have not steeked the armholes yet, but I have bound them off and then started the faux seam. If you can see, that right there is the faux seam that goes down the side. It's on the other side as well. So I've been doing that for a bit now, and yeah, that's it. So let's talk about the tragedy that occurred. So as you guys know, I've never steeked before, and I had steeked the neckline, and I followed a video tutorial of the crochet reinforcement. I did that. I steeked it. It seemed like it was good. But when I went to pick up stitches on the neckline on one of the sides, and I might need to tack down the other side as well, the stitches just started coming apart out of the steek. So I am not sure what I did wrong, but I did something wrong. Maybe I was just picking, like, I don't think I should have been picking up the steek stitches. I think something happened. I couldn't tell you what it is. I don't know enough about it to know exactly what I did wrong, but I'm going to do some research and I'm going to figure it out. But basically it was going to come apart right at the neckband, and it was loose, and you could see that it was not doing well. So I actually had to get my sewing machine, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but I had to secure it because it was going to come apart. I don't think that is going to be noticeable when I'm wearing this. I hope it's not going to be noticeable when I'm wearing this, but it was either that or the sweater started unraveling, and I did not want that to happen. I didn't have the time to start this over, so we sewed it down. It's not the nicest thing, but I did the best I could with the knowledge I had and the time I had. And so that's just what we're dealing with. I have not tacked down the other side, and I am hesitating to cut the armhole steeks until I can do the research as to what I did wrong. So if any of you are steekers and you happen to have any tips or tricks, leave them in the comments, because I would love some tips or tricks. If you have a good video that you recommend, that maybe, I followed the video exactly how she said to do it. I think maybe picking up the stitches is where I went wrong, and I pulled on something that I shouldn't have, and it started like just a chain reaction. I don't know. But I'm still proud of it, and it's gonna be okay. It's a new skill, and it's okay that it didn't go perfectly. I have 2 more chances to try on this particular sweater, and I'm hoping I can figure it out. So that is my iris pullover. I am knitting this on the recommended needles you guys will be able to see. I think it's a US 4. It is a US 4. I'm knitting this with Holst Garn. As you know, I will have all of the colors that I picked linked or in the description box below, so that if you wanted to recreate this, that you know exactly what you need. That will be down there, but it is, let me see if I can remember. The main color is Nougat. The collar color is Bleached White. The dark brown is Coffee. The light pink is Sweet Pea. The grayish blue, which is here, is called Truffle. The lighter purple is Damask. The darker purple is Elderberry. And I always forget the green. Lark? It's down below. I'm pretty sure it's Lark. I don't have an extra ball. Oh, I have it in here. Was I right? I was right. It's called Lark. Okay, I remembered them. So that is everything I'm using for this. Based on the pattern photos, I think I will have probably three more repeats, 2 to 3 more repeats. I've started the next one. You can't really tell because it rolls up on itself, but I am already pretty far into the triangle section here. And I'm hoping that next time I film, this is me putting it out there so that I'm holding myself accountable. I would like to be done with the body next time that I film. So I have 2 weeks to finish the body. That will put me mid-November to late November. And then I'll just have the sleeves left and I'll feel like I can meet the deadline. So we'll see what happens. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. That is everything that I knit on. So let me tell you guys, I don't have any acquisitions. I did get back to the giveaway winners. I have only heard from 2 of them. I'm waiting to hear from the 3rd. I'm gonna give it one more podcast worth of time. I emailed her, or I commented back on her comment today because I haven't heard from her. And I'm gonna give her a chance to respond to that. And if so, I will mail her that. If not, I will re-gift the sock set next video. But other than that, I've got the other giveaway winners taken care of. I have no new acquisitions that are knitty related. So I will just tell you guys a little synopsis of what has been going on. I'm not going to get into everything because there's things that I don't post on the internet. But I can tell you a little bit about what has happened with my pets this last week. So on Thursday of last week, so not yesterday, it was Thursday, but the Thursday before, I went outside. I had a little Yorkie. Her name was Mia. I've had her for almost 14 years. I got her when I was 23 years old. And that tells you how old I am. I am 30, almost 37. I turned 37 on November 20th. So my birthday will be right around the time I film the next podcast. So Mia, she's an old lady, and I came out to check on her. She's been, about 2 months ago, they noticed a tumor in her mouth. And it was basically determined at the time that we would just kind of see what happens. She was so old that they weren't sure she was going to make it through surgery. It was a very expensive surgery. And they were like, you know, just monitor her. And if she seems like she's still got pep in her step and she's still eating and all of that stuff, like maybe it's just benign and she's okay. But that is not the case. She did okay for a while. And about 2 weeks ago, her appetite didn't go away, but it really dropped. And so I started noticing something was wrong, but she was still like happy. She was still like had a little, you know, wag in herself, and her little booty would wag and she'd get excited. And she didn't seem like she was suffering. She wasn't whining. She wasn't, you know, she didn't seem like she was in pain. She just wasn't eating as much, right? And Thursday, all of that changed. I got home and something seemed really wrong. I'm not going to go into details because honestly it was a little bit gross, but something was wrong. And I noticed what was happening. I tried to clean it up, noticed that it didn't look good, and was like, I'm going to just rush her to the emergency vet. And so I rushed her to the vet, and it was determined that her tumor in her mouth was bad, really bad. And they're pretty sure she had cancer throughout her body. They never did a biopsy of the tumor in her mouth, but from what they were noticing with the other issues, there seemed to be tumor-like issues there as well. And so the doctor was very kind and said, you know, you could pay $12,000 it would be very complicated to fix everything that's going on right now. And if she survived it, I cannot guarantee her quality of life is going to be better. So I think that the thing to do right now is to put her down. And I knew in my gut when I saw what was going on that morning that I was going to be saying goodbye to my dog that day. But it's still hard, you know, even if you know, and even if you know you don't want her to suffer, and even if you know she had a really good life, it's still hard. So here are a couple pictures of Mia. One of them is from the day she passed away. The other ones are from just kind of pictures I had, show you how little she was when she was a puppy. She went to little doggy heaven on that Thursday. And I had been, so I don't want to discount her passing away. It was very hard. But I had also wanted a golden doodle for years. My sister has one, and he is the sweetest and cutest dog, and I've wanted one since I met him. But when I had, like, having Mia, her being so small, it just didn't make sense. Her passing paired with some other life changes made me really, I don't know if it was just a spur of the moment emotional decision or if it was the best decision. I don't know. I haven't done the evaluation of that. But it made me want a new puppy. And it was something that felt like it was the right time to maybe research it. And I didn't expect to find one as quickly as I did. But I did. And so I'm gonna go get him, and I will introduce you guys to our new puppy, whose name is Cooper. So, Cooper, can you say hi? Say hi to the camera. This is Cooper. He is a golden doodle. He is almost 8 weeks old. He's got his shots on Tuesday. We have been working on potty training, and he is the sweetest boy. His coloring, when I saw him online and I saw his coloring, I just knew I had to meet him and see how his personality was. And his parents were both so sweet. I'll post a picture here of his mom and his dad. His mom is a full poodle. His dad is a golden doodle. And so he's, I guess, more poodle than golden doodle, but you know, here we go. He's a little bit anxious right now, but I'll show you guys his cute, he has green eyes. Let me see if he'll look at the camera. Can you show him your eyeballs? You can't really see them. They're green. Oh yeah, there you go. This is Koopy. And he's been doing so good with potty training. He has slept through the night the last 3 nights, which feels like an achievement. If anyone has had a puppy lately, you know that is like the newborn years. And it's been 5 years since I've had a newborn, and I am grateful that he's sleeping through the night so quickly. He's doing so good with going potty outside. We still have some accidents, but I watched, and I'll link it below, I watched a video from Simply Rachel O. Bear, and she talked about how she potty trained her puppy, and she just, it wasn't that I'm following exactly what she did, but she said some facts in there that were very eye-opening for me about like how long dogs can hold their bladder, and we've really stayed on top of feeding times being routine, and then bathroom times being routine. And I think it's really helped him. And he gets a little treat when he goes potty outside, and he really has been doing so great. He hasn't had any poop accidents in the house in 2 days, and the pee ones have been a little bit more frequent, but not, in the beginning they were the ones we weren't having, and now we're having pee accidents. But like I said, he's sleeping through the night, and he's just the sweetest boy. Are you the sweetest boy? Mwah. So that is everything that I have today. Thank you guys so much for coming back and watching. And if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll stick around. And I can't wait to fill you guys in on where we're at next week. And so we're gonna head out and go get some stuff done. But Cooper, can you say bye-bye? Say bye, thanks for watching. Bye.